The sun was shining brightly over the city of Zambara, a place where tradition and modern life walked hand in hand. In the grandest hotel of the land, guests gathered in excitement. Today was no ordinary day. Today, Madame Ifeoma, a billionaire businesswoman known across Africa for her power and wealth, was getting married. Her wealth was the talk of every street, from the luxurious fabrics she wore to the fleets of cars parked in front of her mansion. Ifeoma's name commanded respect. People whispered that whoever married her would be set for life. The groom was a charming young man named Tunde. He had arrived in the city only 2 years earlier, with little to his name. But with his sharp wit, sweet tongue, and well-polished manners, he had quickly found his way into Madame Ifeoma's heart. To the crowd, they looked perfect together, a rich, elegant bride and a humble groom who seemed deeply in love. The wedding hall was decorated with golden curtains and sparkling chandeliers. Drums and flutes filled the air with sweet music. Guests from across the land, chiefs, politicians, and business leaders had all come to witness the union. But just as the priest raised his voice and asked, "Is there anyone here who has reason why these two should not be joined in marriage? Speak now, or forever hold your peace." A loud voice cut through the silence. "Stop this wedding!" Gasps filled the hall, heads turned, and there, standing at the door, were 3 young girls, triplets, wearing the same simple white dresses, their faces carrying both fear and courage. The guests whispered among themselves, "Who are they? What are children doing here?" The priest frowned. "Who dares interrupt this sacred ceremony?" One of the girls stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. "Don't marry her," she shouted, pointing straight at the bride. "Don't marry Madame Ifeoma. She is hiding the truth about us." The entire hall erupted in confusion. Madame Ifeoma's face darkened, her fingers clutching her bouquet so tightly that the flowers almost broke. "Guards, take these children out at once," she commanded angrily. But the triplets stood their ground. They looked straight at the groom. "You need to hear the truth before you say I do," the second girl said, tears streaming down her face. Tunde frowned, his eyes darting between his bride and the children. Something in their voices touched his heart. He raised his hand. "No, let them speak. I want to hear what they have to say." A silence fell over the hall. The music stopped. The guests leaned closer, and the triplets took a deep breath. "We are her daughters," the eldest said quietly, pointing at Madame Ifeoma. The entire hall gasped. Some dropped their drinks, others covered their mouths in shock. "What nonsense is this?" Madame Ifeoma shouted, her voice shaking with fury. "I have no children." But the triplets didn't move. "You abandoned us when we were babies. You left us in the village, thinking nobody would ever find out. But we are here today, and we will not be silent." The groom's heart pounded in his chest. He looked at Madame Ifeoma in disbelief. "Is this true?" he asked slowly. Madame Ifeoma's lips trembled. Her eyes darted left and right as whispers of shame swept across the hall. The truth was about to be revealed.
A heavy silence filled the wedding hall. Everyone stared at Madame Ifeoma, waiting for her response. She looked like a lion cornered, her eyes burning with anger, yet her body trembling with fear. "It's a lie!" she shouted. "These children are trying to destroy me. Who paid you to do this? Speak!" The triplets stood firm. They pulled a small wooden necklace carved with the mark of a half moon. The eldest held it high for everyone to see. "This was around our necks when you left us. We grew up with nothing but this necklace and the story the village women told us. They said a rich woman came one stormy night, crying, and left 3 babies at their doorstep. That woman was you." The guests gasped again. Many of them knew the symbol of the necklace. It was the same family mark that Madame Ifeoma's father had worn as a chief. Tunde's face fell. He stepped back, his chest heaving. "Ifeoma, is this true? Did you abandon your own children?" Madame Ifeoma's lips parted, but no words came. Tears welled up in her eyes. Finally, she dropped the bouquet, her shoulders slumping. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, it's true." A cry rose from the guests. Some shook their heads in disappointment. Others muttered prayers under their breath. "I was young," she said, her voice cracking. "I had just started building my empire. My husband left me. I couldn't raise 3 babies and fight my way to the top. So I left them, thinking one day I would return, but I never did. I was ashamed. Too ashamed." The triplets broke down in tears. The hall was filled with the sound of their sobs. Tunde turned to her, his voice shaking. "You let me believe you were a woman of honor. But how can a woman who abandons her own blood speak of love? How can you marry me when you have never made peace with your past?" Ifeoma fell to her knees, begging, "Please forgive me. I only wanted to protect my image. I didn't want the world to see my weakness. But now, the truth has found me." The triplets came closer. "We don't want your money," the eldest said softly. "We only wanted the truth. We wanted a mother." The hall was silent, many guests wiping their eyes. Tunde shook his head slowly. "I cannot marry you. A wedding built on secrets cannot stand." He turned and walked out of the hall, leaving the bride kneeling, her gown stained with tears. The triplets walked to her side, holding her trembling hands. And though the guests left in silence, one thing was clear. No matter how far you run, the truth will always find its way back.